Hello, welcome to the light. I'm your host, Bentley Boyd. Go ahead and take the word of God with me, please, to the Old Testament book of Genesis. The Old Testament book of Genesis, chapter 10. We've been looking at our genealogy giants. In chapter 5 of Genesis, last week we saw the naming of Noah, and how we can be a blessing to our generation by being a laborer in the harvest. Before that, we looked at Enoch and how he walked with God and the importance of the devotional life. And now we come to chapter 10 of Genesis. This chapter is known as the Table of Nations, because we find Moses, as he's writing to the children of Israel, he's telling them about the line of people, the children who came after the flood, through the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And we look at Ham and one of his son Cush. And we're beginning in verse number 8. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Kelna, and the land of Shinar. You know, we can have everything. We can be everything and anything and everything. But when we are rebellious towards God, we're going to fall, and we're going to fall hard. The name Nimrod has been associated with an idiot. Why? What made Nimrod a Nimrod? That's what I would look at for just a few moments. Look at Nimrod's proficiency. He was a mighty one, a mighty hunter. He was the grandson of Ham, the son of Cush. He's one of the very early people here, and he's actually a very early leader. He had great leadership skills. It is believed that he was the one in charge of the building of the Tower of Babel. So he had a great leadership and influence over the people. The reason he was able to lead them so well was because he was a mighty hunter. He was able to take those defend them, defeat the wild animals that were around them, to protect them. But there came a moment when he decided that he was not going to hunt animals any longer. He was going to hunt men, and he used the gifts and talents God had given him for his own selfish ambition and gain. He did it for his own self. You find so many times it says in chapter 11, verse 3. Let's just look at verse 3 and 4. It said one to another, "Go to, let us make a brick and burn them thoroughly." And they had brick for stone, and slime they for mortar. They said, "Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth." How are you going to use the gifts and talents God has given you? Be them to steward. Let's make this even deeper, more practical, more personal. Who are you going to use them for? Nimrod used it for himself, but we must use it for God. That's the problem that Nimrod had. He was so proficient, yet he had a problem. It was one of pride. He became a proverb. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod the mighty hunter before the Lord. That phrase "before the Lord" has the idea of pride, not in humbly before God, but in rebellion against him. What was the first sin? The first sin that was ever done was in heaven, when the devil, when he was an angel, he had the eye disease, that pride which birthed rebellion. Birth always births rebellion, and that led him to fall. We learn from secular history that Nimrod was a man of idolatry, of immoral practices, because he was full of pride and rebellion, which led him to that great sin of idolatry. Because he used his things for himself, his heart was set on himself. We need to set our affection on things above, not on things on the earth. We need to occupy till he comes, to steward well what God has given us to do. The question is, are you a Nimrod? Are you acting like Nimrod? Or are you going to be Noah? Noah, he was gifted to build. That was a talent God had given him, a skill that he was good at building. He built the ark for the saving of his house. For who are you going to use those gifts and talents? For yourself? For God? Are you going to be a Nimrod or a Noah? It's your decision. God has given you a specific gift. If you're saved, you have a great spiritual gift that God has given you. And it's for the purpose to advance the gospel, to magnify Christ and help the church. Are you using it for that? Or are you using it for your own selfish pride and ambition that you may rebel and do your own sin and idolatry? If you're not saved, you have no hope. There's no hope. There's no peace. You're lost. No hope of coming to God. Unless you come through Jesus Christ. The great gift of God is salvation. You just got to put your faith in Jesus Christ. May God help us to be not a Nimrod, but a Noah. And steward well what He's given us to do, what He's gifted us with. This is The Light. I'm your host, Bentley Boyd. We'll see y'all next Sunday or in the Kingdom of Heaven. Thanks for watching.